And Marty just rolls his eyes and says, "Nah, I want you to cut off my arms and legs with a chainsaw." Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails, folks. We're coming up on Maul Mondays, what people are stupidly calling the day that we all unlock Maul, or at least the people who have gotten the red chest every time in Conquest. And this isn't a video about me talking about how annoying Conquest is, despite how annoying it is, but we are talking a little bit about how to mod the Torso Boys, which are Lord Vader and Maul. I'll show you guys the teams, and then I'll also talk about Maul teams and modding for when you don't have Lord Vader. A lot of people are unlocking Maul, they're going to be using his lead, and they don't know what team to use, how to mod him, because it's different. It does change, so we're going to talk about that as well, and just kind of give you guys some rationale. So let's actually just jump into the game. Hold on just a minute. I do want to remind you guys, if you want to support the channel for free, would really appreciate, just hit that thumbs up button, or leave a comment in the comment areas, or wherever, not on my face, even though people have made that joke before, erroneously, but I would really appreciate it, guys. We're trying to mount the algorithm, and it's been working. It's working! Just need your help to continue on that. Growing the channel has been amazing, and you guys have been helping. So let's actually just jump to the game. We'll talk about some mods and get out of here. Whoa, we're in the game. How did that happen? Madness. I don't know if that'll ever get old. All right. To me, I'm sure it's old for you guys. So the thing we're going to be looking at, guys, the biggest part of all of this, we have Lord Vader, and I'll show you a couple of relevant parts of his kit. So the whole team is going to have things like this. Let's see, where is it? It's somewhere really easy. Oh yeah, okay. So here's the thing. Empire and Darkside unaligned Force users, also known as Disufus, lose all of their protection and gain that much max health. So that's nice. Maul is a Disufu. Everyone else on the team is going to be Empire. So everyone loses their protection, gains health, and it's kind of like Malak. Everyone's used Malak, except for those of you who haven't. And then, as you continue along your path of domination, you are also gaining a ton of mastery based off of how much mastery your fellow Disufus / Empire are going to have. And so that you want a ton of relics on this team, as many as you possibly can. You want as much protection as you can in general, and I'll show you guys when that there's an exception to that, but you want as much protection as possible because it turns into health, and Lord Vader is just a guy who ramps up everything as he goes along. And so what I've done with Lord Vader, and this is really straightforward, is I've given him fast health set mods. Now, I think that maybe it's better, in fact, I think that if you have them to spare, it would be better to have a health set and a speed set, and otherwise you're just going for as much protection as you can. So you can see the square, 24 speed, 4.71% protection. I just haven't really cultivated a ton of protection mods, but you just want as much protection as you can. Again, protection and speed. Let's see, I think last time I rolled this, I gained a little bit of potency, so that was worthless. But then protection with speed. Protection, this isn't much speed at all. I really need to swap this one out, it looks like. But it is protection. Protection with some speed. This is maybe my fastest protection triangle, actually, that's health. And protection arrow if you can do it. So you're just going for as much protection. It all turns into health, and that's great. I think that it's also acceptable to put a crit damage triangle on him right here. So that's your scoop. I think you can make him really fast, especially in arena. I'm just gonna wait and see. Personally, is 490 fast? It's not. It's very slow. But how important is him going first versus other Galactic Legends? It's unclear right now. And so I'm personally gonna wait a little bit, but Yeah, he's going to have an enormous amount of health and protection pool. It's going to be nuts. Now, next up is going to be, yeah, we'll skip Maul till the very end. We'll talk about Maul in just a minute. But Admiral Piet, you know what? Here's the thing about Piet, guys. I like Piet. I really do. He's a good dude. Well, he's actually kind of a dick. But here's the thing about Admiral Piet. He is also part of that Imperial Trooper Squad. He is the heart and soul of it. And on offense, if he is taken out, your bounty hunt or your bounty hunters, your troopers are going to be relegated to only killing bounty hunters. That's the only thing that they'll actually be able to beat. They won't be world beaters the way they are now, killing like Darth Revan teams, etc. So Admiral Piet, like Darth Revan is the world, but you get what I mean. Admiral Piet in Arena is going to be probably on the team because here's how it works for him. It's under Emperor's Trap. Because Lord Vader is gaining his mastery based off of the mastery level of all of the other guys in his group, like all of the other characters on his team whenever he pops his ult, everyone's gaining a bunch of mastery based off of what Piet's stacking is. So he gives the Emperor's Trap to people. Everyone gains that undispellable debuff, and what's going on here is he's giving everyone buffs. All of these Emperor, all the stacking buffs, right? And that's great because under Lord Vader's lead, it shows whenever a Darkside ally loses a buff, Empire and Darkside unaligned force user allies gain 1% mastery stacking until the end of the encounter. So what's happening is when Lord Vader uses his unique, he is gaining 50% of Darkside allies' current mastery until the end of the encounter. So that's if he uses 50%. Instead, if he uses the 100% charge, he gets 75% mastery, does all this other stuff, and it's cool. So, I mean, what his mastery level right now, he's at, if you're at Relic 8, he's at 60, he'll go up to 70. So every buff that people get from Piet, every time an Empire character goes and takes a turn, all of the Empire characters gain that buff. And then when someone else who's not Empire goes, then those buffs are disappearing. And so every time, though, an Empire character goes, eventually all of the characters on the Vader team gain 4 mastery for every single turn that Empire takes, as long as Piet is around. And so he can also mark someone. He can mark like Lord Vader, even if you want him to, if you make him tanky enough, because Lord Vader is going to be in excess of 500k hit points, I believe. But Lord Vader is just going to continue to grow his mastery, and that includes his damage, crit chance, armor pen, all of this stuff is just going to ramp up. And so, like I said, you want as many relic levels as you can get, but then Piet also materially helps the team be able to achieve what it is supposed to be. So Piet, I'm not sure if I'm going to remod him or not. I'm guessing he's going to be on the Arena team because that team is just going to ramp up so much. My guess is in Grand Arena, we're not going to use Piet. We'll put like Darth Vader in there, or we'll put some kind of tank or something, because he's just too valuable to lose. That could be wrong, but that's my guess. We'll talk about Maul modding in just a minute. Let's talk about Royal Guard now. I talked about him briefly in one of my, or in my modding, your characters might be modded poorly video, and some people were apparently saying like that I was being a hypocrite, even though I called myself out for it in the video, saying that because my Royal Guard was still modded for protection, I didn't actually believe what I was saying, or some just foolish nonsense. I don't really know, but what I do know is that Royal Guard has a really interesting situation here. So one would think on first glance that Royal Guard would just want a ton of protection, right? Because that's how Lord Vader is, that's how Maul is, that's how everyone on that team is, because you want to be as tanky as possible. At least if you're a tank, that's the goal. But here's the thing, after testing this, and you can test this with Hoda, because he heals a percent of health damage, or a percent, yeah, of health. But what happens is, it's an order of operations things, guys. And I know that a lot of you have already seen me talk about this, but for those of you who haven't, we need to go over it. So what's happening is, so he's gaining health, max health equal to the ally leader's max health. That's great. But then doubles his health until the end of the encounter. So what's happening, though, folks, is when he's with Lord Vader is turning his protection into health, and then you would presumably think that all of that health would then double. But what happens in reality is Royal Guard's health doubles first, then you use the leadership ability from Lord Vader. So he's doubling his health, and then they're turning all of the extra protection into health as well from Lord Vader. So it's like a math thing, use your parentheses and stuff. Royal Guard does his stuff first, then Lord Vader does it. So math-wise, it's going to be better to get Royal Guard health sets. So everything health. You don't need him to be super fast or anything, just lots of health. And then if you can find some extra protection, like you can see this mod has a bunch of protection. This one's got protection. This one's got, you guys are going to get sick of me saying protection. And those of you who are playing a drinking game with me saying protection are going to literally die. But he's got a bunch of health. He's also got some protection that he is going to turn into health. But eventually you want health on Royal Guard. And that is tested. I'm not showing you proof. You can just trust me or not. But that's how the high-end guilds are doing it. You can verify. Now, I don't know if Darth Vader is going to be in there. I don't know how he's going to be modded. If you want a tank that is not Royal Guard, give him lots of protection. It'll turn into health. It'll be great. Stormtrooper's great. Shore Trooper I think I like a little more because you can get that crit avoid, and you can also heal everyone. Stormtrooper can't quite. Stormtrooper tends to be a little more tanky than Shore Trooper, but there we go. In 3v3, the comp I would recommend would be Lord Vader, Maul, and Royal Guard. At least that's the one that I am going to be trying. Now, let's talk about Maul mods a little bit here, guys. So, Maul is a little different because he's not a tank, right? Like, we want him to be tanky, but he's going to be your main damage dealer until Lord Vader ramps up. And so, what's going on here is he's going to have this ability, Anguish, here. So, Anguish, at the start of his turn, equal to 2% of his max health for each stack of Anguish, he gains that much offense until the end of the turn. So every turn he takes, he's going to be gaining a variable amount of offense. And so that, offense is great for him because that's how he does damage. And I know that may sound funny, but like Grievous doesn't actually do that. Grievous doesn't use the offense stat at all. Maul, however, does. He uses two different ways to get offense. He gets actual offense and his health, his max health, which all of his protection, because he's a Disufu, he is also gaining, having all of his protection turned into health. So we do want protection on him, and then we also, any extra offense is great as well. So protection and offense. You also have his unique, it's gaining 15% offense. He's gaining all this stuff. The other thing that I want to point out, though, folks, so you want him to be faster than Cat, if possible, and what's happening here is, there is something that's happening here. You don't have to make him that fast, because under Lord Vader's unique, you can go down and find it. It's somewhere here. Let's see. Maybe I already passed it. Oh, here we are. So, at the start of the battle, he loses all protection, max health, dark side. So, dark side unaligned force user allies. So just Maul and like the various Kylos basically gain speed up and stealth for 2 turns. So at the start, with his unique, so it could actually be under like Maul lead. Not that would be good, but you could do it and you'd like it. No, he's absolutely be he's giving speed up to Maul. So all you really need to do, the fastest Cat in the game right now is 386, I believe, 386 speed. Maybe it's I don't remember. But here's the thing, folks. Doing the math of it, people much smarter than I have discovered that if you get Maul up to 310, if you add his speed up bonus, which I think is about 25% speed, something like that, at the start of the game, he is actually going to go before Cat, which is probably going to be one of those races. Like we need to have the speed run win, right? So what we're doing here, this is Rose Tico. I realize she's not great on any level, but these are at least the stats that we're going to be gaining. So I don't have a speed set on it, so it doesn't matter. With Maul's speed at what? I think it's 289. I think it's one speed slower than Cat. At 289 though, if he gains 111 speed, that's going to be just enough. Let's see, 289 plus 111, that's going to be 300. I think if he goes to 310, that's going to be his max. So maybe I mixed up just a tiny bit. Oh yeah, I that's what I did. I swapped out her mod for no good reason. She had a plus 20 mod here, but I was just messing around. But apparently we're just gonna keep it in this video anyways for fun, so that we can continue to confuse people. Here's the thing about Maul. He likes 3 different stats, folks, because he does damage based off of his health. And so he first off wants a lot of protection. However, he also wants a lot of offense, and he's also fine with getting health as well. Those are the 3 stats that he wants. So you can see you get that protection on him, percent protection. You want speed. Like I said, you want him to be like 310 speed. You don't have to have him that fast, but the faster it is, the more likely you're going to be able to outspeed those cats. So you have we have the speed and the protection on here. The protection secondary here, which is probably why I put this mod on in the first place. Obviously speed isn't that great. With protection here, obviously we want 6E eventually, but if you don't have it, the nice thing is the 6E only goes up 0.5%. It's not that significant, really. So, I mean, this is the set that I'm going to be putting on him. Probably sans this one triangle, or diamond, whatever. I know my shapes. Shut up. But we got speed and a little extra protection on top. Again, protection, some speed. He's not like the super fastest, but which is what a lot of us had our teachers say about us, if we're being honest. So we have, protection, speed on the arrow. I think it would be best if you had a fast protection arrow that was health and had a lot of speed, but I think my fastest is like plus 13, and I feel like I'm pretty happy, like pretty lucky to have that. So he's got that protection on him. It's still not that great. We can roll it a couple times, but it's also got health. So those two kind of combine to be more damage. And at the end of the day, like that's what we've got for Maul. He just wants to have lots of protection and health and offense and speed. He only wants like all the really important stats, guys. That's all he wants. So what do we do with the rest of Maul? Like, what do Maul teams do if they don't have Lord Vader? They run them with Mandalorians. This is what my buddy End All Be All, you guys have seen me do modding videos with him. This is the video, or this is the team that he says he's going to be running in 3s to start with. His Bo-Katan and Armorer with Maul. And then Maul is going to be offense set with a bunch of speed and some health, I believe. Let me just double check. Yeah, so offense and health with decent speed. He's still going to be the damage dealer on the team, but he's not gaining damage based on his he's gaining damage based on his health, but like you don't want protection on him really. Like you want offense. You want him to actually have because protection does nothing with him if he doesn't have Lord Vader as the lead. So keep that in mind. Put offense and health, because he's still gaining damage based off of his health, because he still has anguish, but you're not going to be putting a lot of, you're not going to be doing a lot of damage based off of protection, or any for that matter. So Maul lead, and in 5v5, this is the team that Endall has kind of designated as the team he's thinking of, with Gar Saxon as the 5th. I mean, obviously, this is all super speculative because we just don't know, right? Like we're not sure. He's Mando lead, so that's what we're going off of, and yeah, I think that's about it, guys. So I'm gonna call it good here. What are you guys thinking about Maul? What are you guys gonna do? I would love to hear what you're thinking. Like, what things did I mix up? I'm sure that I misspoke a couple times. I know that like the max speed on Cat maybe a little bit off. I'm not sure. I'm sure that I did some math, but one way or another, guys, I think I got the theory right for the most part. Let me know what I missed, though, respectfully in the comments. And otherwise, I'm excited to have Maul. He's going to finally change the meta a little bit, because I've been tired of falling to 38 in Arena. I know that sounds whiny. It probably is. So let's call it good here. Guys, thank you all so much for watching. And remember that in all things, Zareth and apparently Rose Tico for a few minutes prevail. Z.